The last show I had at Matthew Marks was a small show called Anxiety and the Horse. It came about from queuing up at Shop and Stop supermarket, and at the checkout place, you know, where the Snickers and the Mintos and the Hellos and all those things are, was a commemorative magazine for the killing of Osama bin Laden. So it's an impulse buy type thing, what you need. And I was intrigued by our view of it, that here's this momentous historical occasion, and here is the image of it. The current show, which might be called the Wobbly Wheel, the images are mainly from that magazine, although some of them aren't. I've taken images of flowers as well, because I think that there should always be flowers. I mean, basically to try to have some relationship to nature. But like all my flowers are quite artificial or trying to be real, and they're not really real. But I want to keep nature in it. This very beautiful and, of course, apolitical, entirely non-human element of our existence. And then I've also sort of like made up images of women, mothers or pregnant women or women who've just become pregnant. Again, just to bring in, I'm going to say the word clarity, but of course nothing's clear in my paintings, but there's something there to remind one of potential loss and growth. So to bring in that sort of tenderness into it. So I'm looking at this magazine, this commemorative magazine, and I'm also very intrigued by Chris Kyle, the most successful American sniper ever, who killed, I can't quite remember, but somewhere between like 180, 220 people. I was very intrigued by the fact that he has to look, he has to be calm, generally speaking, in war, that it's chaos. But he has to remain calm, and he has to look, and he really has to look, and then he has to kill. Or I guess choose not to. This is getting on a bit, really, but the similarity between that and painting, the way that one has to observe really, really closely, make a decision, and attack, and then re-observe and attack. And there's a calmness and a violence that are all hand in glove with each other. Because I'm interested in Chris Kyle and the idea of being a sniper, I made a painting of what I wasn't really thinking of a sniper's snipe. Anyway, having painted it, I realised it doesn't look anything like a sniper's snipe. Because when I think of something, I don't research it and work out what a sniper's snipe looks like. I just think, oh, I'll paint a sniper's snipe. Snipe? It's like a bird, isn't it? A sniper's... what? Sight. Oh, yeah. A sniper's sight. And having painted it, I recognised that, in fact, I was painting a wonky wheel. And then I decided to make some wonky wheels. Underlying all of this stuff is this very clear, wonky movement of history, and that we turn and we go up and we go down, and the wheels are actually true, but they're wonky. They will turn as the wheels of history will turn, and within that, the wheels of painting. I wanted to make a wheel which had, as I'm in and as I'm painting in, a historical continuum. The wheel always turns, and it's always wobbly. Here's my sculpture of that wobbliness. A few years ago, I was driving in America with my son, and we were going through the desert near the Grand Canyon on this huge plain, and in the middle of the desert, there was a portaloo, a Johnny on the spot, just like in the middle of nowhere. So I pulled over, and my son said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm going to go to the toilet. I mean, it's just completely absurd." And I went into the toilet, and of course there's all bullet holes in it. I mean, I didn't quite think that maybe it wasn't a Johnny on the spot and there was someone going to shoot me. And I went in and I looked out of the bullet holes. And there was, I mean, of course it was beautiful to look out of the holes and see the desert from that viewpoint rather than from my car windscreen. And of course there's that lovely mixture between absurdity, the beauty of looking out of the holes being made by a bullet, and I'm in a toilet in the most beautiful place. So then I want to make a painting. Here I'm making a fairground painting. So I've taken my wobbly wheel, which I thought was a sniper's sight. I've now made it into a carousel. There's a book by Elias Canetti called Auto de Fe, and it's a man who goes mad, and he has a housemaid, and she has a very starched skirt that is incredibly pleated and starched, and he's convinced that it will shatter, and when it shatters, everything will end. And this is why it's all nonsense. I want to put it in that skirt. So I don't even draw the bloody skirt, but I think I'm doing something there which is part carnival, part Elias Canetti's paranoid insanity within Auto de Fe. Apart from that bit, this is all a sniper. I mean, everything, I'm looking at pictures of snipers. And so I'm looking at them and they're looking at me. And I'm looking straight down their barrel in the photograph, and I'm making paintings from looking at them. And I've made it into a carnival and some other things. For me, this is the bit. Without it, the painting wouldn't fall away. Matthew Barney told me years ago that when the sperm enters the egg, a little flash of light is produced. Oh, wow. And there it is. I'm lucky with this paint that I use because it's completely manufactured paint. It has none of the historical gorgeousness of oil paint. It's sort of like, horrible in inverted commas. But look at it, it's absolutely gorgeous. I mean, it's the most beautiful stuff. It loves light, it reflects, it's just heavenly. So there's that, again, always the sort of like the dichotomies between one thing and another. How the simple, the ordinary, the nothing, the thrown away, can be taken and made into something beautiful. One of the main rules of my paintings is that, not the rules, but one of the things I always seem to like is that the painting doesn't really fit on the canvas. There's the rest of that image that exists. What happened is I just didn't paint it. I only painted that bit. All of that other stuff I've said is all in the end totally irrelevant, because it comes down to the painting and what the painting looks like and whether the painting can bear being looked at. The thing I love most is looking at paintings and disappearing. Each painting has a story about how it's got made and where it comes from, but the story becomes irrelevant after a while. In the end, they are only the pictures, and all the permissions can just fall to the ground and be nothing, because it's the thing and what the thing does. I might be wrong. All I know is that I try to make them be able to contain some room to do something, to be complete and to be themselves.